There was a time when Blackberry wasn't just a phone, it was a status symbol. From presidents and CEOs to celebrities and everyday professionals, that little device was everywhere. It was fast, secure, and addictive enough to earn the nickname Crackberry. But today, the brand that once ruled the smartphone world has all but vanished from our pockets. So, what happened? How did BlackBerry go from the king of mobile communication to a forgotten name in tech history? This is the story of BlackBerry, a company that rose on innovation, dominated global markets, stumbled against new rivals and new technology, and eventually reinvented itself far away from the phones that made it famous. Our story begins in 1984. In Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. Two engineering students, Mike Lazaridis and Douglas Fregan, were chasing ideas in wireless data and electronics. What started as a passion project led them to building their own company, Research in Motion. At first, they weren't making phones, they were experimenting with wireless data transmission, pages, and early modem technology. Slowly, they started making niche products, modems, LED displays, and early wireless systems. Mike Lazaridis wasn't just a founder, he was a relentless tinkerer. Colleagues often recalled him staying late into the night, poring over circuit boards and wireless protocols, driven by a belief that mobile data could change the world. In the 1990s, when most people still relied on dial-up internet and bulky desktop computers, the idea of checking email instantly on the go seemed almost impossible. Their small team wrestled with technical puzzles: how to compress data enough to travel over limited wireless networks, how to keep messages secure, and how to design a keyboard tiny enough to fit in your hand but still usable. Their breakthrough was a combination of end-to-end encryption, efficient data compression, and push email technology, innovations that allowed messages to arrive instantly without the user needing to check for them. In 1999, the first BlackBerry device was launched. This was the birth of a new category of device and the start of BlackBerry's rise to global dominance. It wasn't flashy, it looked more like a pager with a tiny keyboard, but it solved a critical problem for professionals: instant and secure mobile communication. For the first time, people could send and receive secure, real-time email wirelessly, a tool which felt like science fiction at the time. This was the birth of the BlackBerry brand. Its name came from the tiny keyboard buttons that resembled blackberry seeds. And with that, Research in Motion had created a new category of device, one that would soon dominate the business world. Its end-to-end encryption and server-based protections made BlackBerry the gold standard for secure mobile communication. By the early 2000s, BlackBerry wasn't just a gadget, it was a cultural phenomenon. Governments, banks, and Fortune 500 companies adopted it for its secure email and messaging, while celebrities flaunted it as a symbol of status. At its height, BlackBerry controlled over half of the US South smartphone market. The addictive nature of its instant email and BlackBerry Messenger earned it the nickname Crackberry. Executives couldn't put it down, and even world leaders relied on it. President Obama famously insisted on keeping his BlackBerry when he entered the White House. The design was iconic: the keyboard, the blinking red notification light, and the rugged build that made it feel like a professional's tool. Owning a BlackBerry meant you were connected, important, and ahead of the curve. This was BlackBerry's golden age, the moment when it seemed untouchable, the king of mobile communication. BlackBerry Messenger, or BBM, wasn't just a tool. It was one of the world's first closed social networks. letting millions of users chat instantly with encryption and read receipts long before WhatsApp or iMessage existed. Governments and corporations trusted BlackBerry because its servers offered unmatched security, creating a reputation that made the devices indispensable in finance, law, and politics. The blinking red notification light became a symbol of urgency and importance, reinforcing the addictive crackberry culture that kept users glued to their devices. The company also expanded globally, especially in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, where BBM became a cultural phenomenon among young people. In some regions, owning a BlackBerry was as much about status and community as it was about work. Meanwhile, engineers in research and motion kept refining the devices. Better keyboards, longer battery life, and secure servers that governments and corporations trusted. BlackBerry felt untouchable, the phone of presidents, bankers, and celebrities. During its golden years, BlackBerry kept expanding its lineup, from the 6210 that combined phone and email to the 7210 with the company's first color screen. By 2006, the BlackBerry Pearl introduced a trackball and multimedia features like a camera and music player, signaling the company's push beyond corporate users into the consumer market. The Curve series refined that approach, offering sleeker designs and stronger multimedia support, becoming one of BlackBerry's most popular models worldwide. By late 2006, it seemed like BlackBerry had locked down the future of mobile communication. And then, in 2007, Apple changed the rules with the single touchscreen. In 2007, Apple unveiled the iPhone, a sleek touchscreen device with a revolutionary App Store. Suddenly, phones weren't just for email. They became entertainment hubs, cameras, and personal assistants. A year later, Google's Android ecosystem exploded, offering variety and customization. BlackBerry, meanwhile, clung to its strengths: secure email, physical keyboards, and enterprise clients, but consumers were shifting fast. They wanted apps, touchscreens, and multimedia, things BlackBerry struggled to deliver. The company's attempts to adapt often backfired. The BlackBerry Storm in 2008 tried to mimic the iPhone's touchscreen, but was plagued by poor performance. The Playbook tablet in 2010 launched without a native email app, a shocking omission for a brand built on communication. Even the later BlackBerry 10 operating system arrived too late, with too few apps to compete. As rivals surged, BlackBerry's market share collapsed. From controlling over 50% of smartphones in the United States, it fell into single digits by the mid-2010s. Once a symbol of prestige, the BlackBerry was becoming a relic, mocked for its stubborn keyboards and lack of innovation. This was the era when BlackBerry lost the consumer market, not because it lacked talent, but because it misread the future. By the mid-2010s, BlackBerry's phone business was on life support. Market share had collapsed, and attempts to revive it with the BlackBerry 10 operating system and Android-based devices failed to win back consumers. In 2016, BlackBerry made a decisive move. It announced it would stop designing its own phones. Instead, it licensed the BlackBerry brand to companies like TCL, which produced Android smartphones with the familiar BlackBerry keyboard. These devices earned some nostalgia buzz but never regained mainstream traction. The final curtain fell in January 2022 when BlackBerry officially shut down support for its legacy services. Overnight, classic BlackBerry phones lost calling, texting, and data functions. By then, BlackBerry's global smartphone market share had already dropped to well below 1%, and most users had migrated to iOS or Android. For millions of former users, it was the symbolic end of an era. the moment the Crackberry truly disappeared from pockets worldwide. Blackberry had exited hardware, closing the chapter on its once dominant role in mobile phones. Even as Blackberry phones faded, the company itself refused to disappear. Instead, it reinvented its identity. By the late 2010s, Blackberry shifted focus from hardware to software, cybersecurity, and enterprise solutions. One of its hidden gems was QNX, an operating system it had acquired earlier. Originally designed for embedded systems, QNX slowly became the backbone of modern cars, medical devices, and industrial equipment. Today, millions of vehicles run on QNX, making Blackberry a silent powerhouse in automotive technology. The company also doubled down on secure communications. Products like emergency mass notification systems and encrypted voice and messaging positioned Blackberry as a trusted partner for governments and corporations. By partnering with giants like NVIDIA and most of the automotive manufacturers, Blackberry found a new niche, protecting data, powering cars, and securing critical infrastructure. It no longer competed with Apple or Samsung in consumer phones. Instead, it became a specialist in the invisible systems that keep industries running safely. Blackberry's story is more than the tale of a fallen phone giant. It's a lesson in how fast technology can shift. At its peak, Blackberry defined mobile communication, shaping the way professionals, governments, and even celebrities stayed connected. But its downfall came from misreading consumer trends, clinging to keyboards and email while the world moved to apps, touchscreens, and entertainment. Yet, unlike many fallen brands, Blackberry didn't vanish. By pivoting into software, cybersecurity, and automotive systems, it found a second life. Today, Blackberry is no longer in your pocket, but it may be inside your car, securing your data or protecting critical infrastructure. The lessons are clear. Innovation must be constant, and even the strongest players can fall if they fail to adapt. Blackberry's rise and reinvention remind us that in technology, survival belongs to those who evolve.